Hello, culés, and welcome to FC Barcelona Central. I am your host, Pedro, and today we're hitting the ground running with an exclusive look at Barca preseason plans. We're also going to a deep dive into the very exciting La Masia talent, and we're breaking down the hottest Ballon d'Or debate. Barcelona is already generating funds even before the transfer market officially opens. Remember, the summer transfer market opens in July 1st and closes in September 1st. So we're going to have a while to talk about the potential new players coming in, rumors, and exits or signings. This will, this selling a player will definitely help our salary cap pressure. However, there are some exits that Deco and Fleek want so they can strengthen certain positions. One of these positions, as we know, is the winger position. We already signed a goalkeeper, and the next position is a left back. The club situation only allows us to rule out a departure of certain players like Cubarsí, Pedri, and Lamine Yamal, among others. But among the players who are not deemed to be untouchable is Hector Ford. Barca is not going to force anything with him, but they also wouldn't mind they wouldn't stand in the way if he finds a future option for all positive for all parties. The 18-year-old is highly sought after many European clubs because whenever he played, he showed the quality to compete as a fullback. His contract runs until 2029, so by contract, by his contract, there's obviously no rush. However, Hector Ford wants to play more, and Hansi Flick cannot guarantee him a starting spot. Koundé is obviously a first choice at right back, and Eric Garcia has had a very strong season in that position. Despite this, the club still trusts Ford, and he values his confidence. Ford's focus now is solely to success in Barcelona, as long as a slight possibility for him to get minutes. He's been very comfortable in the locker room, sharing with his La Masia friends, making him determined to be patient and keep fighting. In fact, he already rejected proposal from Ajax last winter, thanking them for the interest, but preferring to stay at Barcelona, where he hopes to debut at the Spotify Camp. No, that is his dream, that is his club, and he's not listening to any offers at the moment. So, once the signing of Joan Garcia is complete and official, we move into the next step. And, it seems like including Gerard Martin's potential exit. Barca will focus exclusively on signing a design winger. This position has been strategically considered since last summer, and now the club is determined to finalize the signing. And there are obviously some candidates on the table. I know Leroy Sané will not be joining Barca since he's already signed a 5-year contract with Galatasaray. He was a player that Flick coached when they won the Champions League in 2020 with Bayern Munich. But the main name that we have talked about is that one of the Colombian Luis Diaz. While Barca has explored other options like Rashford, has an alternative, the Colombian player is in full pursuit by Deco and Hansi Flick, which obviously has Hansi Flick's approval. They want him because they believe his ideal profile to be in the left wing, right wing, and his defensive commitment and his goal scoring ability allows him to play center forward if needed. Obviously, there's other names popping up, but Luis Diaz is in everybody's mouth. The Colombia has already rejected big money from Saudi Arabia, and his role for now will be fundamental for him to wear the Blaugrana jersey. His position is clear. He either stays at Liverpool or signs with Barcelona. This puts some pressure on his current team, who needs to sell some players to get some funds for their desired transfer. This is kind of like a modern-day chess match. Luis Diaz... With Luis Diaz, Barca already has a close agreement, but now is the negotiation part, which is the hard part with Liverpool, who publicly claim that the player is not in the market. This is more negotiation pressure than anything, so the saga is going to keep going. But there is details that Barcelona is holding on to. Liverpool allegedly had a verbal promise to let Luis Diaz go if any offer that stipulated the amount arrived. The amount is 80 million euros, which is rumored now. Remember, this is all non-confirmed numbers. These numbers have been leaked. The Colombians have hinted that the verbal pact for Barcelona is all in. However, he wants the Liverpool to help out. The difference in this court is delay in negotiation, but Joan Laporta is in no hurry, believing that if the player remains firm, the signing will fall in place. What Barca is absolutely clear is that they cannot pay 80 million euros for Luis Garcia, especially since he has 2 years left in his contract and turns 29 in September. Either the promise made to Luis Diaz is fulfilled or all things will get complicated with him, which now we have a few options in the table. Barcelona has finalized the details for the 2025-2026 season, and unlike the recent season, Hansi Flick and the coaching staff will enjoy their vacation and get back to work on July 13. While potential incoming transfers are going and outgoing exits, still being finalized for the first team, what is certain is that Flick is starting with a significant presence from players from Barca Athletic and the juvenile squad. And some of the young talent, with familiar names that some of them already play for the first team, like Tony Fernandez, Juan Hernandez, Jofre Torrens, and Dro. But there will be more. And in this case in particular, there's a very special name, Ibrahim Diarra. Since the player arrived to La Masia in December, Diarra is one of the biggest bets from the academy season. He's faced a complicated adaptation period, but physically, he's been very strong. He's at a natural difficult position to adapt, and in the middle of the season, which, as you know, Barca Athletic was relegated. The young 18-year-old forward had limited minutes, showing off just glimpses of his quality. And he was nothing like the player who earned the silver boot on the under-18 World Cup, enchanting a lot of European clubs who wanted his signature. He didn't believe he'd get enough minutes in Barca, but hopefully next season he will. But Ibrahim Diaz was evolved. He has weeks back, he settled more into the new offense. Whether starting from the wing or playing behind the striker, the player rediscovering his scoring touch and the burst of speed that highlighted his scouting reports that brought him to the academy. Diarra is aware that he hasn't reached his full potential. His atypical mid-season incorporation definitely took a toll on his play. Now, with time for training and a clean slate, he has the full confidence that he'll have more opportunity to prove his quality and forge a future in Barcelona. Both the player and his entourage have at times expressed that regret that Diarra didn't receive enough minutes and support during his adaptation process. Time was lost, seeing those flashes, but that, time will also show the quality of a good start that he is. Diarra is asking for a change, and Flick could provide it. Hansi Flick preseason will be featured among all the illustrations from the academy players, like the ones that I mentioned, but Ibrahim Diarra. The forward knows that these first training sessions in this preseason will be critical. He have an opportunity to demonstrate his football to make a difference. The real dilemma comes when Flick has to finalize the squad for Asia. Nothing is guaranteed here, and the price is to have Flick's approval. Now, I do want to talk about the biggest individual prize in football, and it is the Ballon d'Or. Lamine Yamal has been considered a favorite for some time after his excellent season, and now that all the European leagues are over, I think the debate is ongoing. I have analyzed the top contenders, and of course, Lamine Yamal is in the mix. From the season, Lamine Yamal has scored 18 goals and provided an amazing 21 assists in 51 games for Barcelona. Perhaps the most impressive aspect of his impact is the big matches. He scored in all 3 fixtures against Real Madrid, which is very, very important. And he also netted against Atletico Madrid and Inter Milan, including a goal in the Champions League semifinal in the first leg. While he only scored 9 goals total, he had been criticized because he's only 17 years old. He's an efficient dribbler and creator, and his impact goes beyond just goals and assists. He can definitely needs to wrap up, and he definitely wrap up this season in the best shape possible. However, Lamine Yamal faces some challenge from Ousmane Dembélé. Dembélé was arguably PSG best player after successfully winning the UEFA Champions League, and after years of inconsistency, Luis Enrique deployed him in the central role last season, and he found the back of the net 21 times in League One and a staggering 33 times in all competitions. He played all 30 in 30 in. He played He played all the matches, and then he scored 33 times. It is also, he definitely excelled in Europe, scoring 8 goals and 6 assists, with crucial contributions against Liverpool in the round of 16, Aston Villa in the quarterfinals, Arsenal in the semifinals, and Inter Milan in the final. Considering that winning the Champions League has historically been key for the Ballon d'Or winners. But let's not forget about our own Rafinha. Some could argue that he had a better season in Barca than Lamine Yamal. The Brazilian performed in a phenomenal third year, scoring a whopping 32 goals and providing 22 assists in 57 games. This includes 13 goals and 8 assists in the Champions League. Rafinha's 21-goal contribution in Euro were more than Lionel Messi ever in a single campaign of 19. And he's joined the high-rated return competition history in a single season, alongside Cristiano Ronaldo, an absolutely mind-blowing stat. Elsewhere in Liverpool, Mohamed Salah ended the 2024-2025 season with 34 goals and 23 assists in 52 matches. The Egyptian also finished the Premier League season with the most goals with 29 and 18 assists. With his effort to help Liverpool win a title, there's an argument that Mo Salah was the biggest disadvantage of this candidate, where he was pretty much the main forward on his team. Whereas Yamal and Rafinha, they had each other plus Lewandowski. Yamal, Dembele, Rafinha, and Salah are almost certain main candidates for the award, and they all should be worthy winners. Culés, what an incredible performance from these guys to have a nod for the Ballon d'Or. Who do you think deserves the Ballon d'Or? I think I know who you think is going to deserve the Ballon d'Or. And I know Lamine Yamal had an incredible season. Dembele reinvented himself. What do you think about the Luis Diaz situation? Should we pay 80 million euros? Should we get someone else? Some other names are going off the transfer market list. Please let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and follow me on all social media. You can find me on Instagram under my childhood name Urrutia. And until next time, and Visca Barça.